You
Look
because
at the camera. We can look at the camera, and we are live on the Pirate Broadcast, and it's a fantastic day for just kind of talking to some interesting people doing some interesting things. And Judi Hayes is none other than one of those people, because we have an amazing opportunity to tap into some talented individuals here on the Pirate Broadcast. And I want to talk to Judi and see how she is today and share some of her nuggets of knowledge that she's going to drop on us today. So Judi, good morning. How are you this fine day?
I am doing fantastic.
What a great day.
And I may sound kind of somber because if I put it all out right now, by 3 o'clock, I'll be like,
Yeah, you got to pace yourself.
but I do have the prerequisite coffee. So
Oh,
I'm already on my second shot.
oh, good for you. Good for you. You're in the future, so you're a few hours ahead of me. So I'm still,
I like that. I like being in the future. I can
yeah.
it's safe, Russ. It's safe. Come on.
So being in the future and helping so many people out, I know that you're like this master of, profiles and doing lots of LinkedIn things. How have you been on LinkedIn a while, and how did you arrive at doing the thing you do right now today? I mean, kind of walk us through the journey so we can kind of get a framework on what you're doing.
Yeah, I think I really got into social media back when I was working for a trade association. And I think that year was, I'm going to go back 10 years ago, 2000.
Okay.
It was a trade association. And basically, I was working on building out their website and getting them on social. And LinkedIn was there.
Yeah.
It was back in the days when LinkedIn was really good. Where they had the Q&A, where they had, all kinds of great things where you could tag your connections and follow up and,
Yeah.
that's gone. Not that it's bad now, it's just different. So
It's just different.
yeah. And then from there, I went to the Chamber of Commerce, Austin Chamber of Commerce. I lived in Austin for a number of years. And
I love Austin.
I had a really small network, and I started connecting with every single member. I said, okay, because I was VP of communications. And I said, okay, I want to get to know the members, because my role in the Austin Chamber was really to help our members grow their business.
Right. That's the whole point of the chamber, right?
Oh, yeah. And back then, groups were really new, and they were really cool. So what I would do is I would do a weekly roundup of all the things happening in the chamber. And I used it as a newsletter, and, started really connecting with people on LinkedIn. And then a couple of members said, hey, can you help me out with LinkedIn? Can you help me figure this out? We gotta.
Oh, the link in the dam broke. All of a sudden, Judy's the expert.
Well, and these are good members. They're supporting, the chamber and supporting business growth in Austin. So I was like, sure.
Yeah,
so I started giving workshops there. And then, fast forward, LinkedIn, I think for me, and like most people, started out as a job platform. It's a place where, and you had to be careful what you put out there, because you didn't want someone thinking you were looking for another job, so
Sure.
with a stealth mode. And, so I think a lot of people started LinkedIn that way, but then they never went back to look at it as sorry about that, as a real business development relationship building tool.
Yeah.
Because that's where it is now. And especially with the acquisition of Sales Navigator, which, by the way, is a separate platform.
Mm-hmm.
It was Rapport or something like that, Rapport, and now it's folded in. Now, but the problem is now too many people think LinkedIn is like a shortcut to lead generation. It's like, okay, and all this spam crap is coming in. And there's a there's a lot of discussion about that, and when it comes down to, and you've had other guests on your show that have talked about, LinkedIn is really where you build relationships. It's where I met you.
Yeah.
And my hashtag is in real life.
Real life.
Yeah. Because what I like to do is I like to find people through LinkedIn, right? Like, we locate one another. And then let's take this conversation to a real life, whether, obviously I'm not going to fly to, Phoenix. Or I would.
Yeah, you might.
You have Creativation is coming up in your town in a month, which is one of my clients' trade shows. Let's have a phone call. Let's have a conversation. Let's meet at an event, something like that.
Yeah.
Let's, I connect with, I work with a lot of event marketing. So I connect with a lot of speakers, and my goal is to meet the speakers And
Mm.
so, like at Inbound, oh my gosh, I got to meet Quentin and I got to meet Keenan and all these people that, in my mind were like on this podium. But
Yeah.
in real life, they're just real people, just like we are.
Oh, heck
You
yeah.
know?
Heck yeah.
And that started with social media marketing world was when again I connect all the speakers and then I made
Mhm.
a point to get selfies with these people. Just
Yeah.
because I wanted to have that, I wanted to touch them and see that they were real. And
Yeah.
and they're just regular people, you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
No
Well,
biggie.
speaking of regular people, we have some regular people and some awesome, amazing individuals in the chat session. So I want to say hi to Sherry Lolly, Vicky O'Neill, awesome, always awesome. Rex Powers, I haven't heard from you. I was thinking about you yesterday, Rex, and Ashwin and Lewis. Thank you so much for being here, Angie. I love all you guys being here in the morning, listening to interesting people do interesting things. And I just wanted to bring you Judi Hayes. She's a power connector in, is it New York? New York?
Yeah, Brooklyn girl.
Brooklyn girl.
Yeah,
And
but
so
I
and
live
she's had some experience on LinkedIn now and then. And we're talking about LinkedIn and the power of LinkedIn, about building relationships, because I have friends all over the world, Judi, as a direct result of connecting,
yeah,
having conversations. And it's not necessarily, some of these people I've met in real life, and I've traveled to events to go and meet other people just like yourself. And it's amazing what you can do to build relationships and maintain relationships as well. I've got connections back because I lived in Portland, Seattle, Houston. Now I'm in Arizona. I've lived all, different parts of the country, and I
yeah.
know these individuals and I connect with them on, on LinkedIn and maintain conversations. So what are some things that we need to look out for or be aware of on LinkedIn today compared to what it was? Because I still go to networking events and people say, well, I thought LinkedIn was a resume site. It's like, well,
Yep.
its intention was never to be a resume site per se. It was to build connections and relationships. And so, and it's evolving, like you say, with Rapport and Sales Navigator and things like that, the premium features. I mean, it's an incredibly powerful tool. So what do we look forward to in the next little while for LinkedIn, and what's really working for you and others around you?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of perspectives you can look at it. And one with LinkedIn, I think, is most people don't have a website. Okay, so that serves as their website. The other
Mm,
thing is LinkedIn is considered a highly authoritative site. So when somebody's searching your name, your LinkedIn profile is going to show up first.
yeah,
And by the way, if you haven't searched your name, go on Google and search your name and
yeah.
also set up a Google alert for your name. But that is the first thing that's going to show up ahead of anything. All your social will show up, your
Yeah.
Facebook, your Twitter, all that. So, it's a great way for people to get visibility. And that's
Mhm.
really what I do is I help people become visible. And maybe the term is visible experts, or visible professionals. So whether you're looking for a way of, showing your career and your accomplishments, LinkedIn is a way of going forward. So we talk
Yeah.
about the future. A resume is looking back.
Yeah.
So, and that's the mistake people make is they treat LinkedIn as their resume looking back. It's really about where you want to go. So,
Yeah.
for instance, in my header, I have pictures of me speaking because that's where I
Mhm.
want to go forward. I want to be
That's the intention you're setting in the out there in the world to say, hey, I'm going to be a speaker. I am a speaker, and this is how you can connect with me.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
think of LinkedIn as your aspiration.
Hmm.
And that doesn't make stuff up, but use it as it's almost like a newsletter in a way. I mean, because you
Hmm.
can change things all the time. You can change your headers, you can change your headline, you can change your summary. Keep it
Uh-huh.
dynamic. It doesn't once it's not done and done. It's like, oh my gosh, I have update that. It's 5 years. It's like
Well, I really like the idea of putting, content that you've created elsewhere and drop it into your profile. You know,
actually I have to update my first three lines, but I usually put my next event. And if I'm
Oh,
traveling, I put a little airplane icon and it says up next. And that's a great way because those three lines are generally all people will see. Very few will click see more. Okay, so
Oh,
that's one thing, is to look at your LinkedIn, whether you're a job seeker, career changer, or a professional
yeah.
that is an entrepreneur or business owner. Look at it as going forward.
I like
Aspir-
that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Marion LaSalle, like, hello, good morning from Houston. Lori Knutson, Jeff Young is here.
Hey
Vic-
Jeff, how you doing, Jeff?
Yeah, awesome. And Vicky O'Neill asked the question, when I search my name, it's my website, then Facebook. Surprised by that since I closed my personal page, not my business page, and then LinkedIn. And I thought LinkedIn would be second. I wonder why.
Try
That's
the
interesting.
incognito browser, because again, if you're searching it, your browser already is filled with your information.
Yeah, cache your browser.
Although, what's interesting, if your website's coming up first, that means you got a pretty darn good website. That
Yeah.
you must be updating it, because
Lori's pretty sharp.
yeah,
Vicky's pretty sharp. Vicky, she's in the Midwest. She actually, Jeff Young and Vicky are close, and they were John Asperian from UK introduced them. It's like, so, that's the power of LinkedIn. I just have to tell and share people that you don't know where connections are going to. Geography is no longer the limit. It's
so
not how far can I drive today to meet someone,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. The other thing that I really like, Judi, and I'd like to have you share with this is articles
Mhm.
versus posts versus comments
Okay.
and increasing your visibility across those three. I'd like to get some thoughts and opinions on that because people right now I see a lot of traffic and I see a lot of tagging.
Yeah.
And
Tagging is becoming out of control. Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Well,
just kind of frame each one of those in a little bit and talk about those a little bit if
Well,
you
first
could.
and foremost, let me just say that if you're on LinkedIn and you're not creating content or engaging to some degree with content, you're
Uh-huh.
missing a huge opportunity, because it doesn't cost you to do that aside for your time. Okay.
Yeah.
So think of, again, an article is something that lives with your profile. It will always stay with your profile. It's indexed by the search engines, and it becomes think of it as a big rock,
Uh-huh.
is there. Okay. A post.
It's your anchor content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's where you can kind of define your expertise, or you can use it. Like, I publish a list of digital marketing conferences. My big rock stays there, and then I update that on a regular basis. And I put
Okay. Much
so
like Brenda Miller's contact list.
exactly. And
Judi Hayes is the queen of events.
so the
You
next.
heard it here first, folks.
Oh boy. Okay, so the next thing is, you've got this article. You can push out snippets of that article, quotes, lists, infographics, whatever. I
Uh-huh.
think the term, somebody called it like the Thanksgiving turkey, and it reminded me of my mom's. She would make a turkey over the holidays, and then she would
Uh-huh.
make all these different things from it, and you'd never know it was from that original turkey.
Yeah.
Rosini and croquettes and turkey hash and turkey, whatever. And
It's like we've had leftovers for the last 30 years. The
so,
original meal has never been found.
I mean, she'd cook the bones, she'd cook everything, and then she'd grind the bones up for something. Who knows? But
Yeah.
and then you'd get the wishbone, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you think of the article as the turkey, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Then you think of posts. Posts have a very short life. It's like a tweet.
Yeah.
It lasts 15 minutes. Only 1 to 10% at best of your entire network will see your post.
Well, they did bring back the opportunity to save posts
Yeah.
now, which is kind of nice. I haven't figured out exactly how to productively use it. So
Well, I forget how to find it. I can only
yeah, exactly.
save this. So you got posts. Now, here's the thing about a post is I'm really big on metrics. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I'm tracking. And by the way, I keep looking at you over there, so I should be looking right there. So I track metrics, and I track two engagements that give me one important metric. I track the number of views
Uh-huh.
based on the number of engagements, and that
Okay.
gives my engagement rate. Okay, so it's not so much that you're getting high. I mean, high views are great, but if you're not getting engagement, then nobody's doing anything with that content. So
Right. Right.
total, the likes, the comments, and now shares are starting to pump up. Mark Williams is talking about how shares are now getting a little more cred, because here's the thing, you can't hack the algorithm sustainably. You can come up with ways to work around it, but you can't hack it because the LinkedIn will control how they want you to see content. And right now, they're really pushing company pages and sharing from company pages. So shared content is starting to get some traction.
Yeah.
However, the
So
content
if
that
you like this post,
yes,
like it, comment, and share.
I always thought sharing would be the highest form of flattery, right? Because I like it
Yeah.
to share it, but no. So here's the thing about comments. Comments indicate to the platform that there's something interesting here. Now,
Hmm.
they can't discern whether the author is commenting or not, which is pretty cool. So what I typically do, I still don't put outbound links in content that I want to get some traction. Okay. So what I'll do
Yeah,
is
putting links in really kind of limits the visibility of that.
yes and no. Oh, because yesterday I posted something about the discussion about automation, and it was an article that a Forbes Council member wrote, and in one of
Oh,
his points, great article, fantastic article, was written in
okay.
2017, but he talked about using automation, which I tell you, that will get you suspended.
Hmm.
LinkedIn does not
Yeah,
want people to automate in terms of messaging people, in terms of just doing stuff that humans should do.
yeah.
So anyway, that article, because I strategically tagged some very um, savvy LinkedIn trainers, we all started engaging with it. So now I don't even know. I didn't even look this morning to see what I'm up, but it's gotten some traction
Well,
because
it's funny when it takes off and you start having conversations in the conversations about with each other that have nothing to do with the conversation that originally started.
but that's
And just Don Payne, a new viewer from Houston, great program. Thank you so much. All the gratitude in the world.
morning.
Vicky, Jeff Young is making some content. Judi and I have been connected for over a year and a half.
I'm going
We
to meet. I am going.
always learn something new.
Well, here's the other thing is I'm not trying to be like anyone else. I do my shtick, and I'm a New Yorker. I'm controversial. I don't like
Yeah.
it, I'm gonna say it. I don't sugarcoat. It's to the chase. I cut to the chase. And so, and like I said earlier, some people it can be naysayers. Some people can be off put.
Uh-huh.
You know, I like to stir controversy. I want to have engagement. I want to show different points of view. I don't
Uh-huh.
want to be negative, but I do want to challenge things that I may disagree with.
Yeah.
I do avoid politics and religion on social platforms just because I have to represent all sides. But okay,
Sure,
so
sure.
back to your thing about posts. Now, when you have a post that has engagement, what I do is I track it. Okay, I track the engagement. So this is what goes into the category of evergreen content. Evergreen content is content that performs well, that is not necessarily time sensitive. Okay,
Mhm.
and that you can bring out again and again, and each time it performs well, and just keep doing it. And I'm not saying do it every day, but I'll go back into my library. I have a content
Right.
library, and I'll pull out, and I do this for my clients. Content that has performed well once will perform well again because only 1 to 10% of your followers are seeing it. Now, every time a comment happens or it gets posted, it pushes it back to the top. So it goes back in the feed. So you ever see something come up and it was like, oh, that post, huh? Because somebody commented on something. And
Well, and I'm missing out because like when I with this show, I have been posting a new post with this very similar content saying, "Hey, Judy's going to be on the first, or the Monday
yeah,
or whatever day a guest is on." And what I need to do is post it once and then go back in and make comments so it comes back into the feed rather than posting it again.
experiment. That's what
Yeah.
sometimes
Well,
I'll
and that's the experiment that I found out is the ones that I make comments in after the fact come back
yeah.
and perform better than if I post it again, the same post twice.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, I'm like a chemist here, writing down, okay, tried this. Don't have too many variables, because I want to know what works. But guess what?
Yeah.
What works today doesn't work tomorrow. So the point is, there's no way to game the system, and it comes down to producing great content.
Well, and I think long term, I'm a fan of relationships. I believe that I have a lot of connections. However, I I'm really focusing this year on the number of connections that I can build and develop, because longer term, it's going to be more productive if you can actually build relationships and people look forward to your stuff, and you have a consistent theme, just like you posting things about events, people can go to you and understand where they can go for because then you become a resource.
Yeah.
Then you're in the intersection of that information. You're valuable to them for a specific goal.
Yep.
And when you become, it's taken me long, for years I've really been hesitant to put my, line in the sand and say, this is what I do, this is what I should be known for. And it's not, because I have so many different interests, and I have a lot of different skills, and because I've been doing this for a little while, and it's not necessarily your advantage. You have to be known for something and be on brand, be on point, be consistent. So,
well, the thing about putting a line in the sand, because I'm a digital marketer, I've been doing this for 40 years, really, because I'm a level 60. So, which is what somebody said recently, it cracked me up. Hey, I'm proud. Good. So here's the thing: is once I put my declaration that LinkedIn is my place, because it's the one I enjoy the most. I love Twitter too. I participate in a lot of Twitter chats, and I
sure.
enjoy them. I get a lot of good feedback and good conversation. Once I have said that, all of a sudden, number one, I can charge a higher fee. Number two, people look to me for that expertise. And number three, I'm getting to do what I really enjoy. So that's one thing about declaration. Now I'm going to give you a tip, a hack. I love hacks.
I like hacks.
The event that Joe and I did last week, it was live training. I wanted to experiment with a couple of things on the platform. So number one, what I did was I came up with a variation of a script. Okay. And I went through and filtered my connections, New York City based, because the location was New York City. And I looked for certain job titles. Okay. I wanted makers, CEOs, heads of marketing, whatever. I sent out, I'm going to say about 350 various messages kind of around, and the first was a full price offer for the event, and letting people know. And what was interesting is I got feedback. I got feedback from some people. And out of that, I got 3 people that said, hey, I want to know more about what you do. Let's schedule a time to talk. Great. That wasn't my intention. I want them to come to the event. Okay. So then I also tested something, which I will tell you, do not do this to the extent where you become a pain in the butt. My job, if you go and look at my profile, my Judi Hayes Inc., it has that event, and I updated and I made sure it broadcast. That went out to my entire network. I got congrats on a new job from people I don't even know who they are. So, but these are people but what was interesting was it activated some relationships that basically I had forgotten about.
Oh, yes.
Great way to reconnect with people. So use it wisely. Don't do it more than 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you become one of those people that, oh my gosh, she's changing jobs or whatever. And what I responded back to people that said, congrats on the new job. And I said, thank you so much. It's actually not a new job. It was an update to something I'm offering. And I told them what it was. And I said, hey, let me know if you want more info. From there, I received, yes, tell me more info. And I was able to sell more seats to the event. So then I went back and I followed up with the other people that never responded out of the 350 and said, hey, if price is an issue, let me make it easy for you. Okay. Because at that point, we had a goal of filling the room.
Right.
And it was an intimate room. It wasn't like a large hall. But, again, people pay attention to what they pay for.
Exactly.
They really do. And so we knew that they were going to get value from this event. So then I went back and made the offer. And I had various offers with codes. And we filled the room.
Yeah.
And I told you what happened. Then what happens from filling the room is, during the event, we're doing some live posting. We're doing selfies. We're tagging. We're doing a post-event wrap-up. And we had so many people that said in my initial outreach, oh, I can't make it, the holidays. Let me know if you do another one. Now I got a whole list of people that.
Then you got a waiting list for the next one.
Yeah. And so it's very, and again, this is not, I don't believe in doing promotional crap on LinkedIn. If you can't offer value, then don't waste people's time. Don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. However, there is, because of the noise and the frequency and the volume of information that's going past, a lot of people that would love to know about this stuff don't see it because they might log in once a week, or
Well, not
you
even
know,
the password.
yeah, or they forget their password and they can't log in. But and it's not our job. I don't think it's our responsibility to decide for them what they need to, you
Yeah.
know, if you can bring it out and you can bring it out in a productive, positive way. I'm not a fan of spam because, it's something that's going to eventually go away because of just the,
Yeah,
you
they'll
know,
they'll subside. I mean, just like, here's another thing though, people that, I believe in asking permission. So when
yes.
I'm messaging people, I'm not gonna regurgitate a bunch of links to things, 'cause I'll get these welcome messages or messages after I connect to people. It's this whole thing with all these paragraphs and links. It's like, "Whoa,
Yeah, whoa.
tune down. You don't even know me. I don't know you. You're giving me your whole financials and all this stuff. I don't, use
Yeah.
a little bit exaggeration, but I ask people permission. I'm doing this thing. Would you like to know more? Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They say,
Yes or no.
which is the AI response, yes, maybe, or no thanks. Great. Okay. I don't want to waste anyone's time. And
No.
to know more, I want them to have a little skin in the game here. So it,
And what you're doing is valuable.
it's
I
building.
mean, what you're doing is a valuable service to the right person. And it's like that old adage, there's three types of people: people that never use your service, people that love your service, and people that don't know enough to make a decision about your service. Right? So it's one of those things you just have to educate, be consistent, and put put yourself out there. And I think a lot of people, just like video, a lot of people, I put the class together this weekend on video strategy, building a video strategy for your business. And I'll do another one in January. And, and it's a paid event. It's like, hey, I spend, I've been in advertising since 85. I know what, I know a few things about a few things, right? And
Yeah.
so video strategy is incredibly powerful. And in 2020, it's going to be amazing and incredibly valuable, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And
Two things.
that's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. So
Said strategy. And that is the differentiation. If people want to be successful on LinkedIn, meaning what's success? I want leads. Forget that.
uh-huh.
You want relationships. It's
Yeah.
a people to people platform. But if you don't have a strategy and you're just posting stuff without really thinking, I say step back and think about, first of all, you have to know your audience. And
Yeah.
that's another nervous thing for people, is like, well, it's any people that live in New York City. Well, no, there
No.
may be business owners of 2 million to 10 million that may sell professional services, or yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So know your audience, and then think about, and this is a little role playing, is
Mhm.
how can I help my audience be a better buyer of my service? And
Mhm.
that's it.
Well, I call it removing the friction.
Yeah, removing the friction. I like that.
Yeah.
But how can I inform them and educate them and delight them to the point where, and Bryn says this, where you give away so much for free and you keep giving it away that people think, my gosh, if you're doing this for free, what would you offer me if I paid you?
Yeah.
Wow. Right?
It's the wow factor. The
Yeah,
wow factor.
exactly.
Surprise them. Surprise them. I
Delight.
just
Delight.
and I want to Arcot's in here, Julio, Philip, Sherry, and I just want to thank everybody, all the gratitude in the world. I just really love the fact that we're here talking to Judi. She's just bringing nuggets of knowledge in. This is what it's about. This is what it's all about, is developing a relationship. Now if we showed up at an event, I'm sure that we would connect and find each other and say, "Oh, there you are." And the restriction to being comfortable talking with each other is gone, right? Like you go to a LinkedIn local or something like that, and I wear the hat just like in my, my my website, and that's how I look. I mean, that is me.
Yeah.
And so when I walk into a networking event and people that I'm connected to recognize me, they come up to me immediately. They say, "Hey, we're connected on LinkedIn," and it happens all the time. And there's a reason for that. And it's the alignment of what I'm doing, who I help, how I help, and the intent that I'm, like we talked about earlier, is the intent that we're putting out there is consistent with who we are.
Well, the other thing that Brenda talked about is cooperation or whatever it is.
Cooperate.
Uh,
Yeah. Cooperation.
no, it's not cooperation. It's
Competition.
competition. That's it.
Yeah.
And I love that because I don't see people as competitors. We're not There's 600 million accounts. I mean, surely there's enough business for all of us.
There's abundance out there. You can't run out of abundance, right?
So the fact of competition, I think she called it, was brilliant. And I think Jeff, you were on that conversation with her, Jeff Young.
Mhm.
And I will always reach out to LinkedIn experts, LinkedIn trainers, whatever, if they say that's what their shtick is, because I believe that we have the opportunity to help this platform be the most it can be by training people best practice and
Yep.
how to really behave. It's like think of these visuals, okay? I'm going to a networking event. I'm going to dress up and I'm going to put a bag over my head. Okay. Or I'm going to a networking event and I'm going to stand in the corner and I'm going to talk to the wall.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be there and I'm going to hand out business cards like I'm a blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get really personal and up close with people right away before they even know who I am. Those people. So why do you behave like that on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
So
It's just LinkedIn is a tool to build a relationship with. That's
also a rented platform. And what I tell everybody is number one, regularly download your database. You're not going to get emails from people, but regularly download that database. And number two is don't put all your eggs in the LinkedIn basket. If you are a business owner and you have a website, that should be the origin of your content.
Yeah.
And you should use some tools to then use LinkedIn as a way to serve it. But if all your equity is in LinkedIn and the platform changes, then you're screwed if you don't have your data and you've built all that. Or for some reason you do something stupid and you get suspended. You go into LinkedIn jail.
Yeah, don't go into LinkedIn jail. And for people that are just watching this now or listening to the replay, drop your comments in, ask your questions, because we have an opportunity to come back in this conversation and respond. And also, for those that are not aware, by the end of today, this broadcast will be converted into a podcast and transcribed into words, images, audio, and video. And it'll be up on Russ Johns /Piratebroadcast.
Brilliant, Russ. Well, you said, by the way, video in 2020. What Gary Vee says is audio. And I think he's hit on something there.
Yeah.
People I know, and I live in New York City, but I do live out on Long Island, so I drive. And I'm in my car, which could be the other day I had to go to Staten Island, and it was a 2-hour trip back.
Yeah.
I listen to podcasts. I listen to audio.
Yeah.
And so I think using video as your big rock, and getting the text out of it. And then from there, you can even get salient little quotes, right? You can get snippets.
Sound bites. You got the sound bites, right?
Sound bites. And then you and I and everyone else who's participating can engage in the comments, And so again, you can really, having a strategy is to, and I love the idea. I think Steve Gordon said it in Exponential Networking, his book, interview people. And for people that are looking to build their business, interview your potential clients, interview people.
Yeah.
Be afraid to ask those big names, because what's the worst they could say is no. Right. But
exactly.
Cool. And use that as a way to further your expertise. And again,
start now what you imagine you want to do a year from now, because right now is the time to start. Don't be afraid of starting. Be afraid of not starting. Right.
Yeah.
And get that going.
It's like people say, "Oh, I got to get into that." It's like, just do it. What's stopping from doing
right
it?
Now I tell people all the time, it's like we are living in the most amazing time in humanity.
Yes.
and the opportunity, and that's the pirate broadcast. We don't need the FCC to tell us we have permission to broadcast.
That's
We
right.
don't need a producer to tell us when we can shoot the show. We don't have to. We don't have to, have somebody tell us that it's okay for us to do this. You have permission. I just gave you permission. Go do it. Right, Judi? We got this. We got this down, and you've probably done a few shows like this. And I just want to tell people how amazing it can be to connect with people all the way across in New York and have a conversation about something we're passionate about, LinkedIn, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And 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 build a relationship. It's as simple as you want to make it. So I encourage you to get started. So
It's really, if not now, then when. But here's the other thing I'll tell you about LinkedIn, and I'm getting more and more into the event marketing aspect. I'll just give another tip to people. If you're going to any industry events, connect with the speakers because they're going to have strong networks.
yeah.
Do whatever you can to meet the speakers, and that means showing
Yeah.
up at their session a couple minutes ahead. Get selfies with the speakers. I
Yeah.
use what I call unofficial conference guides.
Yeah.
Did one for HubSpot for inbound, and the people from HubSpot, Kyle and a couple other people, Dan, Tyre,
Uh-huh.
like, oh, cool, this is awesome, and it got blasted out to the entire network. And
Yeah.
after, and I do live tweeting at the events,
Mhm.
and I do some prep before that so I can actually pick, but that's my way of note taking. And then
Yeah.
after the event, write up a summary. And what happens is what you've just done is you've aligned yourself with the thought leaders of that event
Yeah.
and whatever industry you're in, if you're an accountant or you're in real estate, whatever, but
Mhm.
align yourself there. You put your proximity closer to potential clients, potential
Yeah.
partners,
You're
referral.
guilty by association.
Exactly. And so it's a great way for people say, well, I don't know what to write. I don't have content. There it is. I mean, you get,
Document the process. Document the process. Document your journey.
oh my gosh, it's so valuable.
It's so valuable. And Judi, thank you so much for being here today. This was a tremendous gift and a pleasure. And and Jeff Young actually made it to a live broadcast this morning. So
What time zone is on? Jeff, where are you?
he's in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
So
Cool.
I believe, Jeff, speak out if I'm completely incorrect, but
Is
in
anyone
that area.
anyone here from New York City? In the comments, we're doing a LinkedIn Live tomorrow in Brooklyn, in Dumbo. So if you're interested,
Oh yeah.
DM me and
Shout out.
uh,
LinkedIn Live. So
LinkedIn Live in Dumbo. It's the big holiday party. So Dumbo is Brooklyn.
okay.
Yeah. Do you know what that
Fantastic.
Dumbo means?
Well, sorry?
Do you know what Dumbo stands for? It's not an elephant.
No, it's probably an acronym like Soto and all the other cities
Yeah,
have.
district under the Manhattan Brooklyn overpass. Right?
Perfect. Columbus. Oh, actually, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. I was wrong.
Columbus.
Thanks, Jeff.
Great city. Love Columbus.
Yes, yes. Sorry for the misspeaking.
Whenever you travel,
We'll go looking around Cincinnati for you, and they won't find you.
look up locations and see who you know there and reach
Yeah,
out. I've got to plan a trip to Amsterdam because now I've got all these connections in the Netherlands. I've got
y-
a John
yeah.
Julian and everyone else in the UK or England, whatever you want to call it. I got to all these places. Now I have to go
Oh, they're all over the world.
yeah, it's just great. It's
Fantastic.
just
Well, thank you so much for being here. As you know, kindness is cool.
yeah,
Smiles are free.
karma's a bitch.
And
Good.
you enjoy the day.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye.